Millwall fans are telling Alex Neil the solution to this chaos is quite straightforward. Please start Bangura Williams. James says, get your head out your backside and start RBW, you pillock, against Sheffield Wednesday. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Where Lions Walk. Mike's back with us. He's fresh back from Fratton Park. A very frustrated Millwall fan. It's all just turning against us at the moment. Who'd have thought that all these injuries would have such a catastrophic effect? Hope you're well. Thank you for watching. Do drop us a quick sub if you can. And if you are a Millwall fan that's ever fancied doing a little bit of podcasting, we'd love to have you on the show. Drop us your details below and you can join Mike on here next week talking about the 2 games we've got this week. God, Mike, you must be sick of... I mean, what have we had? 4-0 Birmingham, 3 against Pompey. What's happened then? What's happening to the defence, man?
Since I started this podcast, it's all gone wrong. It basically, it's just... The injuries are just starting to rack up now, I think. I think there's a lot of frustration towards Alex Neil in places, but I think a lot of it... I think people realise they're being harsh, and it does come down to injuries and our lack of just luck when it comes to it. You know, we brought so many players in, and we're now down to literally the some of the youth prospects that I think will start getting game time in the next week or so. It's we can't seem to get through a game without 2 or more injuries, which really doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, Benham says, I love Benham, by the way, on social media. He says, Millwall once had 32 different injuries to 22 players in the space of 4 months. It is mad. Is it just bad luck, or is there something more? Because something that the Norwich ownership has talked about in terms of their injuries, that they've had lots of soft tissue injuries, and they were saying it's a cultural issue in the club. Do you think that's the same with Millwall, that there is something perhaps in the sports science area where it's not quite right?
I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think it may come down to tactics a little bit as well. I don't think we're used to higher pressing and like shutting people down. We're very much used to sort of like a little bit of a low block almost and counter-attacking teams. Whereas we're pressing so high, I think those muscle injuries are sort of starting to take their toll on a few people. I think with recruitment, we did bring in a few injury-prone players, but then also because of other injuries that have come in while they're sort of coming back, they've had, like Femi Aziz, he shouldn't have played 90 minutes for 2 back-to-back games when he did, sort of thing. He should have been phased in. Then he's injured again, and then all of a sudden he's back out again. I think it's just a little bit of man management, and also not... I think realising the position that we're in, we did it last year. Negley come back from injury, and he came on and scored a winner. I can't remember who it was against at the time, but he ended up going off injured about 6 minutes later, and Neil said he should never have played in the first place, but we didn't really have an option. It was either bring him on and sort of lose or draw, or bring him on and roll the dice sort of thing and hope he gets through it. And I think that's kind of the same thing we've got going on at the moment, where we realise how big these importance and games are. You know, you're not going to... The aim of the season was always playoffs, and you don't want to start too weak and, you know, have to try and come back from being 1-0 down, 2-0 down, because we can't seem to do that. So we kind of almost have to start hot, and then if we're not too comfortable, then we're not able to bring the players off because he wants to get the 3 points.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about Bangura Williams then, the main title of our video. Is it that simple? I mean, here's a list of things from one fan. See if you agree with most of these. Very simple to fix this issue, says Sparks2604. Start Bangura Williams. Make our defenders learn how to defend shots outside the box. Banish Uncle Wes Harding and Barista Brian from the squad. Don't play 4-4-2 if the ball service is going to be mostly awful, and actually make some good subs when it matters most. I mean, not much there on that list, Mike, but do you agree with points 1 to 5?
To be honest, yeah. That's, I think it could have been me that tweeted it. It's really accurate. RBW, he can't seem to get game time, and I think it baffles a lot of us. We've tried a few different options out there, and the players that we seem to have is very good... We have very good squad depth in the sense of if we're bringing players on when we're in like a leading position, it's fine, but they're not good enough to start and expect to get 9 points in a week, for example. In terms of the 4-4-2, that kind of surprised me. I think that was only down to Portsmouth's poor form. and hopefully trying to get at them. But that was just, I don't think it really was a 4-4-2. I think Langstaff was slightly more in a 10 role. He was doing the pressing. But yeah, it's pretty much all accurate for the most part. I don't have any complaints. Everyone's a big fan of Harding in the sense of his personality and what he brings around the club. But I don't know a single person that wants him in the next squad or, but then again, we haven't really got anyone else at right back at the moment. We've got Danny Mack that's just come back from his basically a year out injury. That was his first game on Saturday. And then the other option is moving Kramer to right back, but then Cooper was off in the week, so then you'd have had two centre backs, Caleb Taylor and another, where there's just no experience in the middle of the pitch either. So it's almost pick your poison at that point. You've just got to stick with one. Or Danny shouldn't have played 90 minutes though. That's the only thing that he did right.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie says, I never want to see Joe Bryan or Wes Harding in a Millwall short ever again, and we need Jensen back.
Yeah, Joe Bryan's a weird one because he played so well. He has some good games, and especially towards the end of last year, it was really in his sort of flow, and he had a few good games at the beginning of the season, but there's moments like, did you see the red card? Have you watched it back?
Seen it, yeah.
It was. I think it's one of those challenges where he just almost he didn't like he wanted to be involved. No. It was a careless thing. I thought it was very soft. To be honest, for me, it wasn't a red card
orange,
anyway. It's an orange. Yeah. It's a denial, but he's still basically in his own half, and for someone of his age, all he has to do is body check him and take the yellow and make it look like you're going for the ball, and it was one of those where I was livid at the time when I saw the red card brandish, and it was just it's just kind of typical.
The Pompey fans didn't agree with you. Say what we spoke to, which is obviously, understandable.
Well, their players were they all got round the referee straight away after it, and I think that also doesn't help the situation when we don't tend to swarm refs.
Not in the good old days, eh?
No.
One final one, and this is controversial. We'll see if you agree with it. MFC Noah, who's a big tweeter as well, says, no wins in 4 games. We've failed to beat 4 teams that were below us. Terrible performances, playing terrible. I don't know how it gets worse than this. If we fail to win our next 2, Neil has to go.
No,
how much of this is on Neil, though? I mean, is he got one hand tied behind his back at the moment?
To be honest, there's 2 ways you can look at it. I think there's definitely some frustration growing, especially with some of the picks and who he's not picking, like RBW. There's frustrations around that element where you almost think that he's not just got any clue what he's particularly there's moments where there is a little bit of cause for concern, but then also he can only play the hand he's dealt with. If he hasn't got genuinely speaking, if you've got sort of your first team and then you've got your backup with your subs who you want to bring on and implement game to game, if you've not got sort of 13 of that 16-man squad essentially as your starters, you kind of just have to piece it together and do with what the best with what you've got. I think a lot of the players need to take responsibility. I think Ballo has really dropped off in his last 2 or 3 games for us, and he was phenomenal for a few games in a row when we got that 9 points week. Ivanovic, he got his goal, but to be honest, the other 89 minutes, I can't really recall too much he did else. I think that there's not much of a spine at the moment in the team, and when we go 1-0 down, I don't think there's anyone. We don't really have a horrible team, like someone to get out refs or someone to put in a big challenge. It's all a bit soft at the moment. So I don't think his position is in trouble yet. I think it's just, I think there's just frustration. He's making subs a bit too late, wrong choices maybe with the starting team, barring a couple of players. And when he's making subs, it's too late. Like Birmingham waited till we're 3-0 down to make a sub, but to be honest, I was about 12 minutes into that game and I just said, the shape's not right. We're going to get, found out.
Okay. 2 big home games then this week then. Don't know if you saw Southampton's results at the weekend, did you?
Yeah, just about, just about.
You enjoyed
Yeah,
that one. Give you a little worries then for this weekend, maybe?
yeah. So to be honest, I got a couple of child mates I play golf with, so it's well, I had a good fun on Sunday, but I still got the better end of the deal there. But I think I can't see us getting anything from Saturday. I think how Alex will approach it and how I kind of hope he does is we got Aziz back on Wednesday now, so he'll play some minutes. I think we just got to go as strong as we can against Sheffield, put all the cards on the table there, and then for Southampton, maybe do like a five at the back, two in front. Just try and become that horrible low block, hard to break down, try and nick a point, get a goal, defend for your life type scenario. But they've picked up form at the right time, really, and yeah, we'll see.
Two big games. I mean, crikey, lose both of them, and I think we might be back here with a few more tweets like that last one, eh?
Yeah.
Sadly. Right, thank you very much. Cheers for that, mate. We'll be doing the A to Z of Millwall, so still to come, we've got the letter G to cope with this week, so we'll get Mike's view on that. First of all, though, goalkeepers. We've had a few dodgy incidents of goalkeepers making howlers in the Championship, so it's got us asking the question this week: who's the worst ever goalkeeper that Millwall that you've ever seen for Millwall? In the chat, please let us know some of these, and we'll read some of these out next week. Have you been there? Have you been sat behind the worst ever goalkeeper howler? Mike, have you got any?
In terms of the worst howler, was probably I was right behind it in the Coldblow Lane, and was Bart. He had a shot straight at him, literally just went through his hands, and it was the most timid outside of the box shot in the world. The worst keeper that I've seen in a Mill shirt is probably George Long. I don't know how he's yeah, there you go, G for George Long. How he's even managed to get a career with higher teams. He went to obviously Norwich, and they hated him as well by all accounts from what I've read. And yeah, how he's managed to sort of have a career out of being a goalkeeper, I'll never know.
Okay. Any worse goalkeepers than George Long that you've watched in your career supporting Millwall? Please get typing now. I know you always don't, but we do read every comment. We do reply to every comment. Not like other podcasts that are bigger in stature. We genuinely interact with everyone who talks to us during the show. So let us know, please, below. Right, Mike. G, we're looking for surnames. Don't forget if you can jump there. Do any spring to mind? Any Griffiths or Gardners or
the only I don't. Do you know what? It's to be honest, I actually thought it was F this week, but
it might be. Do you know what? It could be.
I think we did Everton last week.
We did Everton last week, so we're on F. Right? Have you got an F for us? Right, we'll do G.
And on the subject of goalkeepers, David Ford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, David Ford. He was when I remember when I was obviously a little bit younger. He had a season ticket, and he was just the rock part of that team. Unfortunately, he just missed short of his 300th cap for Millwall. But he was brilliant. I rated him highly as a goalkeeper. He had, the right. He wasn't the tallest bloke in the world, but he was. His stature was just such a big present in the box, and I think vocally on the pitch as well. Seems like a bit of a nutcase as well, from by all accounts. I've got to read his book actually. But yeah, he's always been a fan favourite of mine.
Brilliant. Right, we'll try and get him on the show, and you can talk to him. Fantastic. Yeah. Let us know then in the comments. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, we'll do G definitely next week. Promise. Give you an extra week of thinking time. Who else for F? Though, yeah, let us know. Right, cheers, Mike. Thank you so much for this week. Appreciate it. Yeah, just some other bits and pieces just around football. Yeah, England's obviously now booked their places a while back into the World Cup. Will you be heading to America yourself, or are you booking your beer garden ready for the summer?
No, it'd be a beer garden. I would have thought. No, we won't be going out there. No, unfortunately not. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of looking forward to it in a weird way. To be honest, I'm not. I'm very much an England fan during tournaments, but outside friendlies, and I still watch all the games. Like I don't miss them, but I was never really a big fan of Southgate, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think he really had what it take. I think he cost us a couple of times. So, but I don't completely agree with Tuchel's stance on a couple of the players causing drama, and he likes that sort of being on the edge of sort of disharmony in the changing or the dressing room. It seems. But I'm interested to see what he can put together. You know, he doesn't really care about feelings and sort of the teamless aspect. Everyone has to earn their place. If you don't play well enough, you're not going to go. And and in some respects, it should be done on merit. But I also think he's going to make some very big calls in some big games where you're like, I don't know how he's going to fit some of the players in especially like the 10 role. And there's so many options to really choose from. It's he's going to struggle.
Right, and of course, Scotland joining them as well. That'll be a good laugh, won't
it? Yeah, exactly.
Right. Cheers, Mike. Enjoy the game against Sheffield Wednesday. Should be 3 points, of course, Wednesday night. They've been absolutely awful in that Sheffield derby on Sunday. So, yeah, their fans aren't happy. And we just, hope and pray Southampton have an off day on Saturday. We can talk about 6 points for the wall. Catch us next week, and thank you very much for your company. Catch you then.